Hello, Shackley family and all viewers. My name is Bill Roy. I'm the program director for the Shackley Peer Performance Team. It's my pleasure to be here today with Colton Brown, who is a 6-time world team member in judo and a 2-time Olympic team member. Tremendous honor to be with you, Colton. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
The reason we're going to talk to you today is because today, August 24th, is the start of the Paralympic Games, and there are 2 outstanding judokas participating. Ben Goodrich and Robert Tanaka. They will both be there. Robert's a 66 kg and Ben is, I think, 100, minus 100, I believe.
Yes, minus 100.
Yep, 2 excellent athletes who are going to represent the USA there. This has been second time in the games and Robert's first. So I thought it'd be good to check in with you, Colton, to see what you can tell us about the athletes, the venue, the sport, and so forth. So let me just go right to the first thing. You've been around the circuit a long time, and Ben and Robert have been in the Paralympic side for quite a long time too. Is there anything you can tell us about those athletes in judo compared to your judo experiences, anything like that?
Yeah, well, first things first, any athlete that makes it to the Olympics or Paralympics is an extremely special athlete. So these guys are competing at the highest level of sport. And I think it's an absolute honor to have them representing our country because they're good guys. They're not just good on the mat, but they're also good guys off the mat. And yeah, I'm happy to watch them. I'll be excited to watch them compete, and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, these guys are no joke. They're very good at what they do. They're the best in the world at what they do. So I think it's an incredible accomplishment just to even make it to that stage. And then, let alone, I think they're going to perform well, but they should be proud of themselves for accomplishing such a major feat.
We certainly are proud of them, and we have talked to both of them on this site, so I can attest they are good guys, wonderful representatives of their sport, their family, and of course for the USA. That's great. Okay, so is there something about their weight class that you can tell us? Like, again, Robert is at 66 and
Yep.
Ben is at minus 100. Is there a difference there, or is it just proportionally the same?
There's a difference. So 66 kilograms equates to 145 pounds, and 100 kilograms equates to 220 pounds. So Ben will be fighting bigger guys. The judo, that from a spectator point of view, the judo at minus 100 might be a little bit slower. The guys are bigger, so they might not move as fast. Whereas the lightweights in 66 kilogram, Robert's division, they'll be moving a lot faster. So they're going to be moving a lot faster. It depends on who's watching it. One might enjoy the 66 kilo style, and the other might, another spectator might enjoy the minus 100 kilo style. But nonetheless, I think it's going to be really exciting judo. This is judo at the highest level. So these guys really know what they're doing. And I think there's going to be some brilliant throws. I think there's going to be a lot of explosiveness. And both divisions should be really fun to watch.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And so when we're watching, tell us about the actual judo hall or the venue that they'll be wrestling or performing in.
Yeah, so the judo hall that they're going to be performing in is probably one of the most prestigious in the world. It's the Nippon Budokan. That was the site of the first Olympic Games in 1964. When judo was introduced as an Olympic sport in 1964, they held the Olympics at the Nippon Budokan. So there's a lot of history in that place. And then that's the site of the All Japan Championships, the All Japan Judo Championships every year, which is pretty much the biggest event in judo. So outside of the Olympics and World Championships. So there's a lot of history in this venue. And we just got done competing there for the Olympics. And I'll tell you, it was a very, very special experience. So I think that these guys will be excited to basically compete at the Mecca of judo. Like, they're not only competing at the highest level, but they're also competing at the highest level venue that there is in sport. So just to be able to tell your kids and to tell people in the future where you've competed and just to know the history and the value of what you're doing at this place, I think is very special.
You've been there, so you should know. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's it like out there? I mean, you're stepping on the judo mat there in that prestigious venue. When you step on and take the bow, what's it like there in the Olympic Games, Paralympic Games for them?
Yeah, for me, it was a breath of fresh air. Once I stepped foot in the venue, once I stepped foot on the mat, area, a lot came to my mind. It was a lot of gratitude. I was very thankful for the journey that I had been on. I was very thankful and grateful, more importantly, for the amount of places that judo had taken me. Not many people are going to be able to say that they've competed at an event like this. They've competed at a venue with so much history. So I think these guys, when they step on this mat, I think that they'll also be filled with gratitude, because judo has taken them a long way, and it's introduced them to so many people and so many great experiences. So that was the biggest thing. Like, usually I think that some people get it mixed up. People that aren't really aware, when they watch us, they're like, man, these guys must be just thinking about, as soon as they step on the mat, they must be just thinking about fight. And, not everybody is like that. So if these guys are anything like me, filled with gratitude, just very excited to be there and excited to compete and excited to showcase their judo in front of their family and friends who will be watching through the app and on TV and following them virtually. It's a really good feeling.
Such a great insight. I would not have gone in that direction. So that is wonderful. I was sad that there were not crowds in the hall and in any of the events. And so will that make a difference, or will they be able to focus just on their event, or is that, something that they've never even considered?
Yeah, I think for some athletes, it might make a little bit of a difference. But, I always try to say, when I get asked this question, when we train, and we spend most of our time in this sport training. So we train 6 days a week. And when you train, there's no crowd, there's no spectators. So it's just you, the person, and then your teammates. And that's the same amount of people that are going to be in the venue. So for me, it was a lot like training. So it felt comfortable for me. As much as we love the crowds, and the crowds look good and they sound good, I mean, it's pretty much like a training venue. So for me, it was comforting in that area, because it's what I'm used to. And I think they might have the same feeling, because I know where they train and how they train. And I think it might be a little bit of the same feeling. And I don't think it'll throw them off too much, because like I said, we've been dealing with this for about a year now. So they've had competitions with no spectators. So they're used to it. And, I think they've still managed to thrive under those conditions. And I don't think this will be any different.
I wouldn't expect that they would perform any less, but just a little bit of sadness for people who can't actually be there and see the wonderful performances, but still we can view it and support them nonetheless. That's great. Okay,
Definitely.
So if you were in their corner, their sensei or coach, what would you be telling them to help them prepare for this special performance, this special competition?
The main thing I would be telling them is to just stay present. Try to stay present. And try not to make it more than it is. A lot of people think of the Olympic Games as this huge deal, and it's okay for people to think that way, but you don't want to let it get to your head and affect you negatively. So a lot of times when you look at things to be bigger than they are, it might be a little bit of an overwhelming feeling. So I would tell them, this is like every other event. You're going to have to wake up. You'll have to put your gi on the same way. You'll have to tie your belt. Your opponent has to do the exact same thing. Nothing is different here. You've seen all of these competitors before. Just stay focused, stay present, and just be grateful. You're grateful that you're here. Your family's watching just as they are usually. And this is a time you have an opportunity to perform, and you have an opportunity to make history, essentially. But at the same time, it's like every other event.
I went to the Olympic Games as well, and I heard that same kind of advice, but it's very difficult, isn't it? I mean, when you get out there, the magnitude of the event, but
Absolutely.
Hopefully they'll be, through their training and experience, they've both traveled all over the world. Hopefully they'll be able to stick to that and just go out and have another great match.
Definitely.
Okay, so speaking about having a great match, for those of us, me included, who don't know a lot about judo, talk to us about the fundamentals, like, what is the length of time? What is the objective? How are points scored? How is a match won in judo?
Definitely. So judo matches are 4 minutes. And you can score there's 2 scores. One is called a wazari and the other is called an ippon. So if you get an ippon, it's equivalent to a knockout in boxing. So the match is over. So if I throw you flat, if you're my opponent and I throw you flat on your back with force, and the referee calls ippon, the match is over. If he calls wazari, 2 wazaris are equal to an ippon. So if you land on your side or Anywhere other than your stomach. You can land on your side or partially on your back, not with as much force. That's going to be equal to Wazari. That's a half point. 2 half points equals 1 point. Match is over. There's also 3 ways that you can win on the ground. So if you transition, you can win by choke, pin, or armbar, and either one. So if you make your opponent tap on a choke, or if you make your opponent tap out on an armbar, or if you pin your opponent for 20 seconds, that's also equivalent to an ippon, and you can win.
So in wrestling, it's a 3-second pin, but in judo, 20 seconds?
Yes, but the only difference is in wrestling, both shoulder blades have to be on the mat. In judo, you have to just remain on your back. You don't have to pin both shoulder blades down.
Gotcha. And is the ref or the official counting like 1,000, 2, or how?
No, there's a clock. There's a clock that's going on. So they have an electronic clock that you can do. Otherwise, everybody's interpretation of 20 seconds might be a little bit different.
Exactly. I'm sure that can seem like an eternity, whether you're the pinned or the pinny or the
yes,
pinner.
Absolutely.
You're always seeking for the ippon, so that's instantaneous, right? I mean, that's one of the things about judo is that within an instant you can either win or lose a match.
Definitely.
Part of the excitement.
Definitely.
Part of the excitement. That's great. So I do know this about judo. When I've done my social media posts, I can go with some sports that get a certain number of posts, but whenever I do a judo post, I can get up to 10 times the views on that because of the sharing and the community in judo. What is it about the sport that brings everyone so close and so involved?
Judo is a very tight-knit community. Since I was a kid, it's always been that way. We've always supported our own. Judo's a very hard sport, and I think it's a sport that teaches respect and value. So you always respect you respect your opponents, but more importantly, you respect your other practitioners, other people that are practicing the sport, especially at the highest of levels and competing at the highest of levels. We learn to respect them at a very young age. So I think that might have something to do with it. I think sometimes in a lot of sports there's a bit of resentment, or some people don't like to see others succeed. That's never really been the case in judo. Even guys that are fighting in the same weight category as you know that the time and the dedication and the sacrifice that it takes to get there. So you want to be there to support them. And I think that's major. But yeah, I've been very fortunate to be in this sport from a young age because it's taught me things not only on the mat, but also off the mat. These lessons translate to off of the mat. And one of the most important things is respect. So I think that's might be the reason why the judo community sticks so tightly together, and they're always supportive of one another when we compete.
One of the things I love about that sport is just that sense of respect, sportsmanship, and so forth. Great. So let's extend that a little bit and talk about takeaways from your career after a lifetime of being on the mat and fighting, struggling every single day. What have you learned? What do you take away? And maybe even what's next?
Yeah, I've learned so much from judo. I always tell people I don't know where my life would be if I didn't have judo. Judo has taught me so many different values. One of the most important being respect. Another one is just being patience and perseverance. Judo is a very difficult sport, and you're not going to get the techniques that you're working on overnight. They don't come overnight. You put in all of this work, and sometimes you don't see the results for months and years. But it teaches you that that's how life is sometimes. You don't know what life is going to throw at you. So when you get involved in something, or you're trying to do something, you're trying to start a business or do something in that realm, and you might not see the fruits of your labor yet, but if you just keep your head down and keep working, good things eventually will come. And that's one of the most important lessons that judo taught me, and is just to have patience and just remember, when you're doing the right thing, it's only a matter of time before it does pay off, and it will. You might not see it immediately, but it will pay off. And that's kind of what I'm looking forward to going into the future. I'm getting ready to start my own business and open a judo facility, martial arts facility, so I can give back. If I can just change a couple of lives the way that judo has changed my life, if I can impact a couple of lives in that positive manner, then I know that everything has come full circle and I've done my job.
I have no doubt you will succeed just as you did on the mat. So good luck with that. And for
Thank
those of
you.
us who are working or toiling away in other areas, Any advice you can give us? I mean, besides hard work.
I think that the best advice I can give is just to stay present. Always stay present, and always we tend as humans to look far in the future, or we look in the past, and we let that dictate our current emotions, our present emotions. And I think there's a lot of beauty in staying present and just being able to breathe fresh air and just being able to see what's in front of you. I think there's a lot of beauty in that. And I think that sometimes when we get to those places where we're thinking too far ahead or too far behind, just to remind ourselves, listen, I'm here right now. I'm alive right now. And that means life is good. That's not, we have to be thankful for where we are at this moment in our lives, and learn to enjoy this, because that's going to be what makes for memories in the future. But if you're always looking to the future or looking in the past, you're going to overlook something, and you might not see something or opportunity that you might have. And that might not make for a memory that you could have in the future if you were just to remain present.
Well, I'm thankful for this moment that we had. It's been wonderful. Appreciate
Absolutely.
your advice. Hope that others can gain something from it as well. Today is the start of the Paralympic Games, August 24th. Ben Goodrich and Robert Tanaka will take the mat. I think Robert is the 25th, so tomorrow in Tokyo.
Tomorrow. Yep.
And then I believe Ben is on the 29th. Check your schedules for that and see if you can follow them. But should be wonderful for them. Win, lose, or draw. We still admire them for their tenacity, their patience, hard work, and just being there, as you said at the top. This is a tremendous accomplishment in their lives, and a wonderful honor for us to be represented or associated with them. Also, tremendous honor to be speaking with and associated with you, Colton. Good luck in all your endeavors. Hope to connect with you soon. And if that happens, it will be our pleasure. So, Colton, you take care, and thanks again. Good job.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll see you.
All righty.